got off to a tremendous start. I think we're up by 9 at quarter time and blew it out to 20 at half time. And we looked like the Golden State Warriors in the first half. We were playing with some magnificent basketball, sharing the basketball, multiple scorers, great defence. And the second half, we held our lead to around about 19, three-quarter time, but then it was really, really tough. They came back, credit to them, and it was difficult though because the officiating became really physical, and they really didn't have a foul called on them until about a minute and a half to go. We were up 7, so they had to foul, and then they got their 6 fouls, so they just kept fouling us, and we got to the free throw line. So we ended up winning by 7. So I'm pretty pleased, with Marquise having to resting totally over that injury now. He'll be back for the next game, so it was good to get another away win.
And then, like you said, there's that lull in that second half. It got down to about 5 points. Were you a bit nervous at this stage that you weren't picking up the momentum properly? Yeah, probably not nervous, but concerned. Look, to lose a lead like that, but the way the game was going, it was very physical, and we found it very, very difficult to score. And it got to a point where, obviously, they got momentum and confidence. And once it got to the minute and a half, then they had to foul, have deliberate fouling, and that just ate up the clock, and then we knocked down a couple of free throws. So, it's just a pretty good scenario to go through. Like sometimes you go through these types of scenarios, it's going to help you long term rather than short term. For us, that win against Dandenong, we don't play them again. Not many teams are going to go in there and win. So that's going to be good for us when we look back at the end of the year.
You made the decision to start Jerry this game. He had another big performance. How important was he and his sort of his play to get you over the line?
Oh, look, I think they had heaps of trouble with, his 6'8" playing the 3 spot. So we utilised that, him going inside, and then Foxy got a couple of fouls, so then we threw him back to the big man spot. So his versatility really created problems for him. So, he's either too big for his opponents in the 3 spot, and too mobile in the 4 spot. So, his scoring is pretty much inside out, and I think that not only created problems for Dandenong, but that's how I see us utilising his strengths, which is going to create problems for no matter who plays against us.
And you get 4 threes off the bench from Fish and Zach. How important is it to get that production off the bench from some players who are taking advantage of the minutes they're getting?
Oh, look, it's really important. As you may recall, I started Fish last week for the first time in his career, and that's what's that about. Every now and then, you're going to do things like that to try and boost their confidence. It's about the whole season and getting to the playoffs and having players confident to shoot the basketball. And I was really pleased to see Zach knock down a couple because he had a great pre-season. And these young fellas can shoot. The big part of them for staying on the floor is really, stepping up a level on the defensive end. We've got some really talented players for them to play against, and the teams are pretty good. So it's not just about the offensive end, it's the defensive end, but certainly when they come in and knock down threes, it makes it difficult for the opposition to focus on guys like Jerry when they can stretch the floor with his shooting ability.
You dominated the game on the boards. Has that been a focus for you guys throughout the season?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the defense is the focus and the rebounding, and the offense usually comes from that. Our defense was outstanding in the first half, 31 points. I think we kept them to, and that correlates with how good your offense is flowing. So sometimes when your offense isn't going that well, it means you're not creating easy baskets through your defense. So, we're just trying to find that balance right now. We probably played well for 3 quarters and let ourselves down a little bit in the last quarter, but we went through some scenarios probably in the last few minutes that we're going to be in tight games, which is going to help us long term as well.
And when the game did get tight, Dean came up really big on both ends. A few key blocks, changed a few shots, and then a big dunk down the end of the game. How important is his energy being throughout the season?
Yeah, well, look, his shot blocking ability certainly, anchors our defence if we get beat off penetration. But at the same time, what doesn't go on the stat sheet is how many shots he changes, and so that really helps us defensively. But the 2 players that stand in my mind, obviously, is Shorty getting fouled, stepping to the line, making those free throws, and a crucial offensive rebound by Jerry in the last couple of minutes. The last minute and a half, 2 minutes with a putback, that pretty much ended the game. So you talk about the rebounding and the defence. That's what wins championships. That's what wins big games.
And sort of.
I know you go. I'm going rush next.
Yeah, I was going to go rush.
Okay, and with the rush, can you tell us what happened with Shanice?
Yeah, she got hit on a heavy screen. She's hurt her knee. We were quite alarmed, after the game, but we're feeling a bit better today with the news that the swelling's gone way down, and she's seen a physio today, so we'll have a better idea probably later this afternoon. So she's seen a physio in the next hour and a doctor, but we think she's going to be okay, which is fantastic because good girl and good player, and if she had played the whole game, the girls probably would have gone across the line.
And it looked like the Russian bit of foul troubling as well. Do you think the umpiring was a bit harsh for them?
Sorry, I've got to laugh because I can't say anything about referees.
Yeah, that's
right
right.
now.
What do you think? How do you think they dealt with all the foul trouble they had?
Well, what you've got to do is just play younger players. You're forced to play them, and some of those young girls stepped up. They got within 5 points again in the last quarter. So with the foul trouble, it creates opportunities for others, and you expect those others to step up, but they just couldn't get across the line, especially without Shanice. I think it makes it pretty tough.
And do you reckon they gave Georgia the opportunity to sort of step up for the team, even though obviously there was no winning in the end?
Yeah, no, look, Georgia's a really, really good player, and she has the ability to score and create. So she's still finding a way as far as understanding how to play and how to play with good players. Like in the juniors, she dominates, and obviously it's an adjustment for her to play with better players and obviously utilise those better players. Can't take every shot in senior basketball, whereas at junior level, some of the younger players do. So it's a bit of an adjustment to play with better players, but she had a really, really good game.
And the Russians played 3 of the top 8 sides so far and come pretty close in all of their games. How confident are you that they can turn their form around and still make the playoffs after the Easter break?
Yeah, I still think they're finding their way a little bit. We're not playing at our best as well in the minors. So the girls, I think it'll be a couple more weeks. I think this break will be good for them to reassess things and look at where they need to improve. And as you mentioned, they played probably 3 of the top 4 teams, let alone the top 8. So, they're going to get some wins. They just have to hang tough and stay focused on what they've got to do to get across the line. So the more games they play together, the better they'll be. It's basically almost a new team, and it always makes it tough from a chemistry point of view as well, with people finding their roles. So when you get an injury to someone like Shanice who you rely upon, it makes it tough. But I'm pretty sure, the break hopefully should be back after this break, especially the bye. It's probably come in handy considering the fact she got hurt.
It went really well. I think it gave us some diverse. I don't think no one expected me to start, so I think it just took them by surprise, and I think it got us off to a good start.
And how did you think the game went considering to the win in a row?
I think we played well for 20 minutes or so, and second half I think we let up on the gas, and they got the best of the second half, and they made a strong run to come back, and I think, like Coach said earlier, Dane and Shorty made some key plays down the stretch to really help us get over the top.
How important do you feel that your role is to sort of be dynamic and both stretch the floor and get to the rim?
That's exactly what my role is on this team. Do what the team needs. Every game isn't going to be a scoring game for me. I know that, and the team knows that. We're going to have other guys like Shorty and Dane who's going to give us big games. Right now, it just seems to be my time, and hopefully it can continue. But I do know that at some point in time, I'm going to have to adjust my role and do something different for the team to make sure we continue to win.
Can you speak a bit, how you're gelling with your new teammates only 3 games into the season?
I think we're doing really well. We're getting better every week. Coach tried different lineups in practice, and it shows on the court. And we're able to play different type of basketball. We're able to play small ball, or we can also play big ball with me at the 3. Josh and Dane. I think that's a really big lineup that gives us the diversity to be able to switch 1 through 3, 1 through 4, being able to guard bigs, and I think that helps us down the stretch.
And you're about to get even bigger after the break, bringing in Marquise back into the lineup. How excited are you to be on the court with him again?
I'm very excited, Like I said before, you don't really get to play with your college teammates, and he's also a childhood friend. We come from the same place, so I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to play with him again. That's going to be an amazing feeling for me.
And how confident are you guys that you can keep up this form all the way to the playoffs?
I am confident, but this is basketball and things do happen, so it's just about improving and getting better each week, and just trying to build, and getting as good as you can once playoffs start, and when the time of the season comes, you're prepared.
Yeah, and you just said before your childhood friends and you're at the same college. You might just clarify where those both places are for me.
well, Los Angeles, California. We're both from there. We work out together. I've known him for a long time. And we went to college at the University of Nevada together. And yeah, we've been friends for a very long time.
It was a little tough, but we have to have people who can step in and fill that role. But yeah, it hurts, but hopefully she'll go to the doctor and be all good. And we're just waiting to hear back from that. So.
And do you think the rest of the team was able to step up when she was missing from the lineup?
Yeah, I think so. I think we definitely need a few more people to step up and fill her role just because she had a very big role. But, I mean, we don't really know what's going on right now, but we just got to do what we're capable of doing, and then we'll figure it out.
You seemed a bit more comfortable with your jump shot over the weekend, and you were getting into a sort of a more aggressive offensive role. How important do you think that is for the team?
Very important. I know I put a lot more time shooting in this week, and with us being on holiday type stuff, it's easier for me to get in and get shots up. But yeah, it's going to be really important for me to kind of like step up and look to be more of a scorer and a threat on the court.
You've played 3 of the top teams of the competition so far, and sort of held your own in most of those games. How confident are you that you can, get some wins on the board after the break and still make the playoffs?
Oh, very confident. Like, we just have to figure a few things out and work out a few kinks, and then we should be all right. But yeah, we've been playing well and practicing really, really well. So we just got to keep that up and keep everything rolling.
Georgia really stepped up over the weekend. What were your impressions of her coming off the bench?
It was really nice to have her back for this game for sure. But yeah, her role's gonna change, I think, a little bit more now. So we definitely have to be sure to just be ready.
You got a bit of the rough foul call over the weekend. I know you're probably not going to blame it too much on the refs, but how did you see it? Did you think it was sort of called fair both ways?
Kind of, but yeah, I just have to be more cautious about fouls for sure. I can't be getting into too much foul trouble, so I gotta kind of be a little bit smarter on the court.